Hey there, Veteran Nation fans. I did not get a chance to do a coffee with the skipper this morning, so that's why I'm doing this right now, just to kind of keep you guys updated. I was out of town all weekend, and then yeah, got back, got in late, and yeah, so I didn't do what I normally do. So putting this out, and I did want to talk about Jeremy Hales and Russ the Sauce and what was going on last week about him not showing to the ethics hearing. With that, Jeremy, this is straight to Jeremy if he's watching. Jeremy, sadly, I'm not surprised that the ethics committee ignored half of the allegations and just didn't take it seriously. I know you're saying it's Florida. It's not. It is not Florida. This actually is more commonplace than anywhere, or more commonplace across the U.S. Than anything. The powers that be decided to investigate themselves and decided that they did nothing wrong. Your best course of recourse is going to be suing the state and the county. Sadly, that's what my experience. I can tell you, if you talk with TC, my co-host from Minnesota Black Robe Regiment, there's a lot of us out there who've been fighting government corruption, and yeah, that's going to always be your best recourse. I'm not faulting you for doing what you did. You went through the process, and that the process the government has given you, and it just goes to show you how the government even feels. They will treat someone with a platform like yourself badly, and that's why I do what I do, having been in the military, treated very poorly as an officer. I do what I do because if they'll do it to me, they'll do it to other people. And I really hope that, because you have a much larger platform than so many others, that you will keep fighting this, and because it's not just your fight anymore. You fought government corruption in Otter Creek, but you see it'll go all the way up to the state. Keep fighting. Please keep fighting, because there are so many people who do not have the ability to fight. People who are smaller than you and me, with smaller voices, with less means. So I will absolutely stand by your side as you fight this. And I may do more on this. I may, I'm big on writing letters and petitions. I may do something on this. I don't expect it to have much of an impact. Always going into court, and it's sad that it has to go to that place, but always going into court will have a much bigger impact. Still, no, you're fighting an uphill battle, even though I think you have probably one of the strongest cases I've ever seen from somebody. In all the years of my journalism work, and all the way back even to college when I was writing stories just for class. You rarely see people with the amount of proof that you have. And so I hope you do keep fighting. I know you're a man of God, and I think God has put you through this test to show you what you can actually do with your platform for just everyday people. Because there's many out there, and myself, the Angry Vet, TC, Veterans Affair, media, the Flying Auditor, a lot of us, we've talked so much about this, and you have a much bigger platform than us. You probably have even more resources than us, but we've been fighting for a lot of this stuff, and there are a lot of YouTubers out there who, to be honest, are only in it for themselves. And I'm not, especially me and a lot of those guys I mentioned, we're big in the First Amendment auditing community. I'm not big in that community, but I do follow that community, and I think they do some worthwhile stuff. But there's some people out there who have means to fight some of this stuff and are only concerned about themselves. So I would encourage you to keep fighting with this. You know, that's what brought me so much to your case, was the government corruption and where that was, how that was happening. And so you're feeling it, and just know that you are not alone. You are not alone. There are others like myself, like all those that I mentioned. You know, we all do have our own personal battles, but you know, that we're all fighting. But if we can all band together and stand as one, we're going to be way more successful. That's where I credit the Angry Vet with what he's done to organize and actually build an organization to fight against government harassment and corruption. But you are feeling it. You have the ability, I think, I think right now you have probably one of the best cases I've ever seen of a civil rights 14th Amendment violation against Levy County. Now, obviously, in a lawsuit like that, that would be a 1983 lawsuit in federal court. With that, you could bunch up into the state of Florida, ignoring 12 of your 13 ethics complaints. You could throw into that the DA, the state AG, telling the DA not to enforce your civil protection order. So you're in a very unique position. And I just want you to know that so many of us stand with you and are praying with you. And I believe you're being given a mission from God. And I say that because that's how I kind of view what I do here. You know, I didn't do this show because I wanted, you know, fame, fortune. That definitely hasn't occurred. I didn't do this because I had a need to put my thoughts out into the thing. I had my business partner encourage me. He was like, look, I want you to do this show. He's like, I want you to talk about these things about veterans. And, you know, and I've done this, and that's what led me to your case. Like I said many times, I followed you because you were a fellow Buckeye. The stories that you were doing, I knew where you were in Ohio. I was very familiar with those areas, and that's how I started following you. But only when this whole thing with Otter Creek, and because me and TC, we've done these stories for years, you know, it definitely spoke to what I do, what I think, you know, the whole situation of me doing this show. You know, our mission here is to help and entertain veterans, military, and their families. And I know that's my mission. And I stick very much to that. You know, with me and TC, AVA, all those other guys, we as veterans get very offended when we see this. And as this happens to you, I'm sure you are seeing it in your comments, where a lot of people are very upset of what's happening and continuing to, even with all the attention, you know, everyone says, oh, go public, do a story. That's just one part of it, you know. That's just the first part of it. You have to follow that up with actions. You know, whether they're in court or whether they're just in your local community, of trying to affect change. And what I've always said is, and you kind of see this with Otter Creek, with the smaller the government entity, the easier it is for corruption to get in, but it's also just as easy to remove it and root it out. And we've seen that with all the changes to the council there in Otter Creek. So you made tremendous effects and improved Otter Creek for the everyday person. I really hope you keep that fight on against Levy County, because I think they have absolutely violated your 14th Amendment rights. I'm sure, you and Randy Shockett have had that discussion. And I'm not talking, setting the whole thing of the bad neighbors and the unhinged lawyer, setting all that aside. Fundamentally, that's what all of this is about. And I know I wanted to talk about your video and what you experienced. Don't let it set you back. Many of us have had that. Look at Justin Schatz. He's literally been attacked and then gotten arrested for being attacked. I've been attacked, but thankfully I had my dash cam to where I was not arrested. Justin Schatz was filming and he was arrested. So there is unjust stuff that happens, but it is, I think, for many of us Christians, it is our mission, to, in God's name, make things as just as we can. And that doesn't mean, we have to move mountains. It just means we have to make our little corner of the world that much better. And I think you will. Just know that many of us stand alongside you with that. There are many people willing to help. All you have to do is just say, here's what I need, and I'm not afraid of doing action. In fact, as a former military officer, I have a bias for action. I have a need to, I'm going to write a letter. I'm going to do a petition. I'm going to, make phone calls. All of those things, I think, when we get more and more people doing that and say, this is what you need to do to be effective, I think when we stand together as one, we're much, much stronger. And you have a very big following. I encourage you. In fact, I would beg you to please keep using your platform to make positive changes. And, through all the other stuff aside, I think that's what's really important. And, that's one thing that, as I've done Veteran Nation, and, because I could have named the channel, Mike the Skipper. I could have called it, Skipper's Musings or something like that. I didn't call it that. I called it Veteran Nation because ultimately I circled back to that mission. Now yours is what the hell. I know that you did not expect any of this, but I think, I look at my situation. I think this is a calling by God, and I think you're the type of person to be receptive to God's message as well. And I encourage you to keep that up. Don't let this, I was expecting, I wasn't expecting Russ to show up, but I was not expecting, I don't want to say that I didn't expect them to do nothing. I thought they would do something. I definitely was not expecting them to ignore 12 of the 13 complaints. That shocked me. I will say that. I expect them to look at the complaints and say, well, there's nothing incredibly actionable about this. But just know that this was not the be-all, end-all. This was just part of, just a step in the process. It sucks. It sucks that our government is like this. But one thing I've learned, if the government ever has the ability to not take action, they won't. And like in my case, if the government has the ability to take action against the person who is the squeaky wheel, they will. They'll bang on it first, when the squeaky wheel should absolutely get the grease. And, I'm not stopping in any of my stuff. I'm shocked that the government hasn't figured that out. I will be strategic in how I do things, but I'm not going to stop. And I hope you don't stop either. And just know that there are many here sending lots of prayers, hope, and love to you and George. But you are ultimately doing things the right way. You are. And, This is no longer your battle. This is the battle for the next guy. You are creating a precedent. You are creating a path. You are blazing a path for others to follow, as we would say in the Marine Corps. So just know that. And it's important work, and we all stand by you, dude. And we got you. So, people like you and the Grangers, this has been some rough stuff, but, I may do a letter to the ethics board. I may, we'll see. I'll do things like that to absolutely try to help you. And if there's something you think I should do to help you, by all means. I understand this is a setback. It pisses people off. And for those of you watching, if you're a What the Hell's fan, and this pisses you off, know that this isn't just happening to Jeremy. It's happening to so many others, not just him. So Jeremy's just the only one you know about. So get involved in your local government. Write letters to places like the ethics board. Let them know that you are displeased, that you think this is disgusting. Because, at the end of the day, Jeremy can only do so much, even with his big flat platform. And, if you say all his money, he can only do so much. I can only do so much. But doing something gets that ball rolling. And sometimes, all it takes is a little snowball to create an avalanche. You just got to keep it moving, and it'll pick up momentum and it'll pick up steam. So, to all the viewers, that's what you need to do. When you see someone like TC or Jeremy or AVA, going through a thing, and if you can pick up the phone call and make a complaint, absolutely do it. Absolutely. I do that stuff. I really do. I get a lot of people who reach out to me. They're like, I want you to do this. And I'm like, okay, well, make it very clear. If you tell me, call this number, say these things, no problem whatsoever. Maybe we should do a form letter. For me and all the What the Hell's fans, maybe we should do a form letter to the Ethics Commission, and we all print it off and we all sign it, just so they know that we know. Because believe it, everyone thinks, letters aren't going to do anything. Yeah, one letter might not do anything. 100 letters might not do anything. 1,000 letters, that might do something. That might make them realize, we messed up. We messed up. And, the hope is that some of these officials in government will wake up before it costs thousands and thousands of dollars of taxpayer money. That's always the hope. Rarely does it happen. Sometimes you just have to hold them accountable in court. But, sometimes it does happen where they're like, okay, yeah, we do have our oath. We do have to do things better. So, let me know in the comments if you guys, I'll take the lead on something like that. A form letter, happily will. But you guys have to tell me that's what you want. That's what you think is going to be best. If you guys do something, send it to me. I will amplify it. I will absolutely amplify it. This channel's not the Skipper. It's Veteran Nation. And if I have to amplify it, I will. So I just wanted to talk about those things today. I'm glad I was able to share this time with you. And, sorry for not doing a live this morning. It was just a little bit chaotic. This week is going to be chaotic. Next weekend is going to be a little, because I'll be on the road again. But all with good stuff. But I thank you all for your time here today. And please leave me a comment. Let me know what you think we should be doing. I'm happy to take any suggestions. And if you're doing something, let me know. Let me know, because we can only affect change together. Just a couple very motivated and organized individuals can do so much. And I learned that in the military. Like, I watched 18-year-olds do things that I don't think, men in my family could do. But, if you have the right motivation and, the will to see things and the initiative, absolutely, you can make stuff happen. So thank you again all for joining me, and to all of you out there, thank you for being worth serving.